Hello, welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. The city of Garden Grove is experiencing a sense of introspection and metamorphosis. It's growing and rethinking where it wants to go. With us now, the mayor of the city of Garden Grove, Steve Jones. Welcome.
Thank you for having me here today.
You know, some of this is heavy stuff, like the redevelopment agency money was yanked from you. This was a real problem for a lot of cities because money they depended on to do great things was taken away in 2011. So you guys had some projects going on that you had to rethink. How are we going to move forward and do this? Tell us about what projects were underway and how you've managed to recover from that little bump in the road.
Yeah, it was more than a bump in the road. It really hit us pretty hard. We were very actively engaged in redevelopment efforts back in the redevelopment boom era and in the last kind of real estate market cycle before the downturn. And so when redevelopment was abolished, that overnight created a $6 million structural budget deficit for the city's general fund.
Yeah, this was money from the state that the state decided they weren't going to share any longer, and so projects were just halted. And you're like, what do you do?
Yeah, including the Great Wolf Lodge, which has now opened, testament to just our fortitude in going forward and negotiating all the way up the line and with the State Department of Finance and just seeing that project through. So that's a huge success story for us. But that project originated probably 10 years ago. It survived the Great Recession. And it survived the abolishment of redevelopment, and we still made it happen, and it opened last year, and they're doing great.
Yeah, a good story with a happy ending now. For those who might not know, Great Wolf Lodge is a big water park where the kids have a good time, so mom and dad are happy too.
Exactly. Great Wolf Lodge is a 600-room hotel with a Costco-sized 100,000 square foot indoor-outdoor water park with water slides and wave pools and all kinds of cool attractions. So it's a theme park within a hotel. The water park is an amenity to the hotel for the hotel guests, so it's not just generally open to the public like a Raging Waters or one of those kind of things. It's a whole package that goes with the hotel. It allows them to drive high room rates and high occupancy rates as a destination location for tourists.
So you've managed to position the city as a destination in itself with the Great Wolf Lodge. People go there just for that. But location, location, location. You have the advantage of this great artery, Harbor Boulevard, that runs through the city, and you've taken advantage of that.
Exactly. It's been fun to be a fly on the wall for many years because I was on the Planning Commission for 8 years. I was then appointed to council. I served on council for 10 years and now just recently became mayor. So I've got a long history with the city. And I was born and raised in the city, so I've been involved as a fly on the wall since the beginning of this. The initial vision was simply that there are positive externalities created by being adjacent to Anaheim and Disneyland and all the 27 million natural tourists that come through that area. So we started redeveloping hotels all along the Harbor Boulevard corridor between the 22 freeway and the border of Anaheim.
So you have reimagined the city by looking back at where you came from to get an idea of where you're going. Tell us about that, the Reimagined campaign in open streets.
Yeah, this has been a fascinating experience and probably my proudest moment in public service is being involved with that Reimagined campaign and all that. So we looked at the state of the city and we said, we've got kind of an identity crisis here in Garden Grove, and what do we want to be when we grow up? And but we didn't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So we had agricultural roots, we have strong family values, we have very diverse ethnic overlay in our city. That's an amazing thing. Like I kind of look at us as a global economy magnified into one little 180,000 population city. So how do you bottle all that up and take it forward looking 10 years out? And we said, how do we reimagine ourselves as a city in 10 years? And we've been doing it and it's been fabulous. I think we're starting to get people are taking notice that Garden Grove.
Yeah, well, how do you do that though? Well, okay, we used to have oranges. I mean, how do you bottle this up? Like you say, how do you do that?
Yeah, so it's been a fascinating process, and we tried not to define it too much, and we tried really hard, and I say we, meaning just this collaborative effort between all of our city departments in thinking this through. Is there's a natural tendency, I think, for cities to want to take hold and do the staff report and map out where we're going and then try and go out and sell that vision. And instead, we proceeded with public engagement first and foremost. We solicited a lot of creative input, a lot of imagination from our residents, our stakeholders, our businesses, our associations, neighborhoods, churches, you name it. And that was a really fun process. We slowed down and we did that right. And as a result, we've taken in a lot of great ideas, and it's taking a life of its own. It's not going down a path that we pre-planned or master planned out. So.
It sounds like you're starting with the idea that we are somebody already, not just the neighbor of that other big city in Orange County.
Yeah, and we sure are. And it took a little while to settle into our skin and say, what's unique and special about Garden Grove? We do have a certain edginess. We've got a certain rebelliousness. Whether it's the Vietnamese subculture that's sort of still rebelling against the tragedies that they faced 40 years ago and where they came from, and there's sort of that rage against the machine there. You've got the kind of old Farmer John Garden Grove types that have seen all this massive change in traffic and that kind of stuff. So everybody's got like a little bit of angst and edginess, and yet beneath all that, everyone within all those subcultures has strong core family values, and we've found a way for all these different cultures to get along and converge and learn and live with each other. It's been fun.
That angst and anguish that you're talking about over traffic, that does lead you to new transformations in planning for how you're going to get along, and you're inviting people to maybe get out of their cars a little too.
Mm-hmm. We've embraced active transportation. We've been very actively working on our bicycle and pedestrian master plan to better connect the city in other forms besides just vehicles. So as a snapshot of that, we've done several open streets events now, like a Ciclavia type event where we actually shut down certain major arterial streets to vehicular traffic for the day. And we invite people to come out and walk around and experience different attractions and programming that we set up. We did our third annual Open Streets events on April 1st, just several weeks ago, on April Fool's Day, but it wasn't a joke.
You're like,
we
no,
actually
folks,
did
really,
it.
we are doing this.
Right, then we played that up a little bit. And
so what are you hoping people are going to get out of this?
so this, like I said, was our third one, and it was our best by far. We had about 15,000 people come out and experience Garden Grove in a surreal way with no traffic on the streets. They got to zip line down Garden Grove Boulevard, which is normally covered with traffic, and just experience a lot of neat stuff. And I think we just gave a glimpse in one day of what the future of that downtown area might look like in 10 or 15 years, all day, every day, once all the uses that we envision fill into those bricks and mortar spaces and come to life.
So you need to get people out of their cars so that they can experience that kind of future that you envision?
Yeah, it's funny, one of our planners gave me a book to read, and called The Walkable Cities, right? I think it's Jeff Speck is the author. So, and I remember in my State of the City quoting something in there saying that city engineers worshiping the twin gods of smooth traffic and ample parking have created downtowns that are easy to get to but not worth arriving at, right? So we're actually taking a different tack, and we're saying we want to rip up the script. We want to throw out all the old parking rules, the traffic rules. We actually want to create some congestion. We want to create some problems in that regard by having places that people want to come to, and where we have a lot of people on the streets and less people in cars.
Southern California has traditionally been a place that you drive through in order to get somewhere else, but you're saying this is a place to be, Garden Grove and its own. Steve Jones, Mayor, thanks for being here. Talk to us about these things. Appreciate it. Glad you could join us too. I'm Leslie Leyton.